In this video, we're going to talk about the 5 most important things you need to know about final expense life insurance with a terminal illness. Our number 1 point is, what do the insurance companies consider a terminal illness? Well, it depends on the insurance company, but most insurance companies determine a terminal illness to be if you are not going to live anywhere from 12 to 24 months in the future. Most insurance companies consider a terminal illness to be an illness that will result in your death within 12 to 24 months. And obviously, if you find yourself in that situation or you know somebody who's in that situation, our hearts go out to you. We feel for you. We help people every day in this situation, and we know how heartbreaking it is to deal with the loss of a loved one or to have somebody who has a terminal illness and will know that we'll lose them at some point in the future. So it's not uncommon for us to get calls from folks that say, hey, I've just been diagnosed with cancer and I've got 12 months to live. I need some insurance. I don't have the money. My family's going to pay for this if I don't get some insurance. And the problem with that is you waited too long if you're in that situation. It's kind of like starting to shop for a parachute after you've jumped out of an airplane. Now, everybody knows you should have a parachute on your back before you jump out of the airplane. But some people start to shop for this final expense burial cremation insurance after they've been diagnosed with a terminal illness or after a loved one's been diagnosed with a terminal illness. And that's exactly like starting to shop for a parachute after you've jumped out of the plane. You can't shop for this insurance and hope to get the best coverage after you've been diagnosed with a terminal illness. Our number 2 point is, why wouldn't you qualify for burial, cremation, or final expense insurance if you've been diagnosed with a terminal illness? Insurance companies are businesses and they can't help people if they go out of business. So if the insurance companies offered first day coverage for anybody that was just diagnosed with a terminal illness, they would go out of business very quickly. Nobody would buy this insurance until they got diagnosed with a terminal illness if the insurance companies did that. The insurance companies in that case would go out of business in a heartbeat. Can you imagine a company that says, hey, if you pay us $50 a month, we'll pay you $10,000 when you die? Now, can you imagine everybody diagnosed with a terminal illness waiting until they're diagnosed with a terminal illness, then calling the insurance company up and saying, hey, I want that insurance? The insurance company might only get $50, $100, or $150 worth of premium, and then they would have to pay out the $10,000 death benefit. They would go out of business lightning fast. So the proper time to buy this insurance is before you're diagnosed with a terminal illness. Our number 3 point is, why don't I recommend guaranteed issue life insurance if you've got a terminal illness? So if you're diagnosed with a terminal illness, you will not qualify for first day coverage. We've already gone over that. No company out there is going to say, hey, if you pay us a premium right now, we will pay you in 3 months if you die from your terminal illness. They won't do that. All policies that offer first day coverage ask health questions. And the reason is they want to make sure that people don't have terminal illnesses so that the insurance company won't have to pay in the event that somebody else procrastinated far too long to buy this insurance. So every insurance company out there that offers first day coverage is going to ask a question similar to this. Have you been diagnosed with a terminal illness that will result in a death within 12 to 24 months? If you answer yes to that question, you're not eligible for first day coverage. That leaves you one choice, and that's called guaranteed issue life insurance. Now again, I don't recommend guaranteed issue life insurance if you've got a terminal illness with less than 12 to 24 months to live. Now, although guaranteed issue life insurance does have first day coverage benefits, it is for accidental death only. Now, if you've got a terminal illness, the chances of you dying of an accidental death are so remote, it's not even worth considering a guaranteed issue life insurance for the accidental death benefit only. So that leaves you with the guaranteed death benefits part of the policy. However, there's a catch. You see, guaranteed issue life insurance policies don't ask any health questions. And because they don't ask any health questions, they're not going to ask if you've got a terminal illness. Because the insurance company is guaranteeing to issue you a policy, they are going to include a 2-year waiting period on that policy for any health or medical related cause of death. That means if you died of cancer, if you died of a tumor, if you died of liver failure, if you died of any terminal illness in the first 2 years, it's not going to pay a penny of death benefit. Now, many of the guaranteed issue life insurance plans have a return of premium benefit in that first 2 years, which means if you died of any health or medical reason, you would get all the money you put into the policy. You'd get all of that back plus an interest rate, typically 5 to 10%. But we still don't recommend those policies if you have a terminal illness. Some agents would write you up for a plan like that. We discourage you from working with agents like that. It is bad business for the insurance company, and it's just getting you tied into a policy that is not going to pay out what you need. Our number 4 point is, when is the best time to buy final expense insurance, cremation insurance, or burial insurance? I hope you've picked up on a common theme here in this video, that the best time to buy this insurance is actually before you need it. The best time to buy this insurance is before you're diagnosed with a terminal illness. We all know we're going to die someday. By the time we are teenagers and we have some awareness of the world, what's going on around us, we know that when people are born, those people will die. Nobody gets out of this world alive. If you don't have the money to pay for your burial, cremation, or final expenses, this final expense insurance is a terrific way to make sure that your family is not burdened with your expenses after you're gone. You can make small monthly payments that will pay out a large sum of money to your family when you're gone, and it will relieve this financial burden after your death. If you don't have this insurance already, I suggest you start shopping now. The best time to get this insurance is when you're younger, not when you're older. Premiums are less when you're younger, and they are more when you get older. Procrastinators are always going to pay more for this insurance. The other factor is that as we get older, we typically get more health problems, not less health problems. So as we get older, typically our eligibility gets less and less and less as we get diagnosed with more illnesses for this insurance. The good news is this final expense life insurance is intended for people who are older. So most of the common illnesses that we get as we get older are accepted with first day coverage. It's just things like terminal illnesses are going to have a 2-year waiting period. My 5th point is, what are some other non-final expense insurance policy options if you're diagnosed with a terminal illness? If you visit some funeral homes, they will say, hey, you ought to do a prepaid burial plan. But think about the negatives of that plan. The reason you were looking for final expense insurance is because you didn't have the money to pay for it. So chances are you're not going to have the money to pay for a prepaid burial plan. Say your burial would cost $10,000 at a funeral home and you had 5 months to live because of a terminal illness. Prepaid plan would cost you $2,000 a month. Nobody we work with can afford $2,000 a month for a prepaid funeral. That's why the people were looking for a funeral insurance, final expense insurance plan in the first place. They didn't have the money. So if somebody tries talking you to in a prepaid plan, we would advise that you proceed cautiously. And in fact, in many cases, we would recommend you not even deal with that person. It just does not make financial sense. Some people would say, hey, I'll just start saving the money and put it in the bank. The problem with that is the same problem with the prepaid funeral. Nobody that we work with has $2,000 a month to pay 5 months in a row to pay for that funeral or to put that money in savings. So that's not a viable option either. People would say, well, I'll just do a payable on death account with my bank. That works great if you've got enough time, but that does not work great if you're diagnosed with a terminal illness. The payable death on account, you run into the same issues as the other 2 things we talked about. Nobody has $2,000 a month to deposit into that account for 5 months to pay for the funeral. If you've been diagnosed with a terminal illness and you don't have the money and nobody else you know has the money that can help you out with that, you are in a tough situation. There is not a lot that we can recommend simply because You procrastinated, or somebody procrastinated, or a loved one procrastinated. If you procrastinate, you will put your family in a financial pinch at the worst possible time in their life when they're facing losing a loved one from a terminal illness. Don't do that to your family. Start planning now. Cremation insurance, burial insurance, final expense insurance is a great way to handle that for a small amount of money every month. So if you need final expense life insurance, burial insurance, or cremation insurance, give us a call at our toll-free number. You can also find us online at our website. We look forward to helping you out with this. Until that day comes, you take care. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.